And now put up your hand if you've thrown a gender reveal party. Sorry, my hand's up. We have on this show just a few years ago, actually, and just like our viewers, we are ever learning and evolving in real time, finding out that trends are also sometimes very harmful. Besides the fact that they've caused literal wildfires, celebrating pink versus blue reinforces ideas of gender and can be harmful, especially to the trans community. Kain Nathaniel and Kaleb Robertson are here to talk about it. We love these two. First met you two a couple of years ago. I'm so happy you're back. So, Kaleb, tell us what makes gender reveal parties so problematic.
Well, I mean, at the heart of them, they're supposed to be fun.
Yes.
Like, that's the point. We're celebrating
and
things.
A party.
We're celebrating our, our incoming child.
Yes.
So it should be great. But a gender reveal party, specifically, at the base of it is an assumed biology, an assumed genitalia, which now some people are joking, it's like, they're genital reveal parties.
That's what they are.
Because we're basing these parties based on this little image that you get as your sonogram, and you're basing this whole party around this. So what does it mean? You're having a pink party, you're having a blue party, and what else can we celebrate? Like, at the heart of those, what are we celebrating?
Yeah.
Because when we're born, our doctors or our midwives are making an assumption. They're making a guess about what gender we're going to be. And as you can see from the two of us, sometimes those doctors' guesses are wrong.
They get it wrong.
And that's okay, because there's so much more than just, what's in that baby's diaper, as we know.
I think it's really interesting to look back at the history and look at kind of the circus that gender reveal parties have become. And something that I learned recently, the first family that threw a gender reveal party actually regrets what it's become.
They do.
And they have a gender non-conforming child.
Yeah. So I think we need to think about, what are we celebrating?
Yeah.
Like, if we're just celebrating this child, there's so many other ways that we can do that, and we're going to have some exampple of that after.
Yeah.
But also, like, we're celebrating some assumptions about what that child's interests might be. You see pictures of maybe a little ballerina outfit that's like, we're having a girl. You're showing pictures of a plaid shirt and a gun. You're like, look, we're having a boy. He's going to be a hunter. So, we're already setting up these expectations of what our child's interests might be.
Absolutely. And I'm happy you said, like, a couple of things. You're not saying don't party, don't celebrate. We're going to talk about all the ways to celebrate. Maybe it's not about the genitalia, though. Maybe it's about, maybe we're celebrating something else. The other thing I want to say is, it's the worst thing ever. Like, I miss the gender reveal era. My kids were before that, so that wasn't even a thing. But when you see the reveals and the parents are visibly upset, oh, you're having a boy, an assumed boy, and the dad or the mom or one of the parents is like, oh, that's not what I wanted. Yeah. That's not a good look. That can't be okay.
What are those expectations? Are we disappointed because, I wanted a boy to throw the ball around with?
Yeah.
There's many reasons why that might not happen, or why doesn't that happen with a girl? Or maybe you envision walking your daughter down the aisle. Again, there's so many reasons why that might not happen.
Yeah.
And so, everybody says, well, at the end of the day, we just want a healthy, happy child.
You sure about that?
Right?
You want a healthy human, so let's just talk about the healthy human versus all these assumptions, right?
And even with that, we're not taking into account the fact that it could be intersexed, that your child could be trans, that your child could be disabled.
Yes.
And that's a huge thing. Or, your child might end up being a drag performer. Trans and a drag performer. So there you go.
You don't know what the story is for that child, and giving them a story before they've managed to even have any kind of a journey on their own is problematic for so many reasons. So I want to talk about how we can be a bit more inclusive when it comes to these celebrations and generally in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, I think some of the best places to start and something to consider is kind of starting at home, starting with yourselves, right? Kind of doing your own research and listening to trans, queer, gender nonconforming voices, and then contextualizing that. So start with trying different ways of celebrating your baby or your child coming into the world. So some of the examples that we like to give is you can do a godparent or guide parent reveal.
Oh, that's nice.
So a lot of people do godparents. For those of us that aren't religious, like myself, I have 2 kids that I am committed to, and so I'm a guide parent.
You're a guide parent. I love that.
So like, let's celebrate the people that are going to be in your child's life.
Yes.
Have a community celebration.
Yeah, and really kind of expand on the idea of what family structures can look like, right? And some other examples we like to give, you know, I've seen stuff like Zodiac reveal party.
That's cool.
You know, celebrate that you have a Scorpio if you want to. And at the end of the day, it also goes further than just considering the child that's coming into the world. Like, you also want to create like an inclusive environment for your guests and your friends and your loved ones. So making sure you de-gender the space, and you could even do something like a rainbow themed party. So invite guests to bring all colors of the rainbow. Consider all of the gifts and clothing and toys, like kind of give them more possibilities and more ideas of what that can look like.
We're not saying that you can't dress your boy in blue. Babies look beautiful in blue and pink.
But they're all constructs.
Yeah, so again, it's like, we're not saying you don't do this, but we're like, hey, look at all these other beautiful ideas that we could do.
I really, really, really want to mention that Kaleb and Kain, actually, they came together on Cityline to begin with 2 years ago. And what was incredible is that they now have a partnership. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now to help educate.
So we're officially branding ourselves as True Lives Consulting because we want to talk to parents and businesses and anybody about changing up their space, about how to envision their lives, but we do it by telling our truths. So we talk about ourselves as trans and gender nonconforming people and how we enter spaces, and just kind of let people relate to their own worlds, whether it be their physical space, whether it's washrooms, and whether it's their language, their books, because we know that at the end of the day, the amount of children who are gender nonconforming or trans, who have thought about suicide, who have thought about harming themselves, the difference of that, of supportive parents and families and non-supportive families, is ginormous. It's huge. So we want people to, at the end of the day, we want those safe spaces to be their homes, to be their schools. We want them, like, and whether it's about expectations about what hobbies they want to have or who they are deep inside, those homes should be the places where they can do that.
That we want trans youth to have a chance to become trans adults.
Right.
So
they've got to live to get to adulthood. Such an important message. So happy you're doing this, and we need it. We need the guidance. So thank you. Thank you both for being here.